Hello, everyone. My name is Trinity Gomez, and for my senior capstone, I have created a conceptual design and planting plan for a potential botanical garden on the CSU Meet campus to be used as part of a living laboratory. This project attempts to address the campus need for more green spaces and uses previous stakeholder research, principles of landscape design, and sustainability science to create a conceptual design and the planting plan. The reason I chose to do this individual capstone is because I felt as though this project would be a great opportunity to create transdisciplinary learning on campus where students and faculty from multiple colleges can be involved in the creation of this garden. So here I have a quick timeline of all the research I've done leading up to this project. Starting all the way back in the fall of 2019, where I took a research methods course, and one of the recurring themes was students' desires for more green spaces on campus. So I took this idea and conducted stakeholder interviews in the spring of 2020 with students and faculty in the College of Science to find out what features and characteristics were most important to consider while creating the garden space. I also had the opportunity to interview our university campus planners, Matthew McClooney and Lacey Rock, who so kindly took the time to listen to my project idea and answer some key questions for the foundation of my current project. Then moving into the summer of 2020, my mentor, Dr. Victoria Durr, and I did research on the concept of living laboratories, which is a framework that uses campus for applied and transdisciplinary research and teaching. It encourages student engagement as well as overall campus transformation and sustainability. We wrapped up that paper in the fall of 2020, and that brings us to the current spring semester, where I took all of the previous research and used it as the foundation to create a concept plan and the planting plan for the botanical garden. So here's the current site. This is the prospective area for where the botanical garden might be located behind the CSUMB Library, BIT, and CAS building. This location was chosen based off the student and faculty interviews, as many wanted to have the garden on central campus so that it would be easily accessible to everybody. This space has a lot of transformative potential and as it currently stands, there are no plans to repurpose the space. So hopefully this location will work if the garden ever comes to full fruition. Now we're moving into the concept plan. In a concept plan, they're typically used in early stages of design. It is a very exploratory process to show general ideas and is used to get feedback from clients when designing spaces. As you can see, there are 5 subsequent themes. A designated outdoor classroom, and an open gathering space as labeled on the concept plan. The themes were identified based off of the previous student interviews and take into consideration the plant's ability to thrive within the Monterey climate. The overall area would have a mix of lower to medium lying vegetation with some trees to give a change in vertical dimension, giving some sense of immersion without it feeling too closed off. Although students did suggest that for the outdoor class space, that it should be more enclosed with higher areas of vegetation and trees so that it feels less distracting to the classes being conducted in that space during the time. I also took into consideration light and shading throughout the day. So I have trees on the right side of the classroom to avoid shading the entire space as the sun sets on the west side. Then in the most southern part of the open gathering area, that's left open so that there's a view of all of the garden themes when you're in the area. One other important thing to know is the incorporation of the Ohlone native plant section, as CSUMB does sit on Ohlone land, and many felt that this should be represented in the garden. And that little square that's in that section would be a space designated for native art sculpture, which I personally think would be a great addition to the space, and it encourages transdisciplinary learning as well. So here is a list of possible plants that would be able to go in the garden space for all 5 themes. I went through various databases of California plants and identified whether I felt they would work best based on our climate and our habitat. If you would like to reference this plant list, I will be linking my ePortfolio with a link to the garden booklet I created that also has this plant list. So here is the planting plan, which is intended to show a more detailed plan for what a design might look like. Some representative images are also included and a perspective view of what one of the garden themes could look like in more detail. I decided to do just one example plan, as rendering the images was extremely time consuming, especially for someone like me who had to do a lot of learning within the software in order to create the images that we see here. The key on the right in the yellow has all the names of the plants and their corresponding symbols. So just briefly, I'll describe the plan. As you enter the garden section on the far left of the walking path, we have scrub oak trees on the top outer edge, acting as the tallest tier of vegetation, and continues down into medium leveled vegetation with blue witch nightshade, bush monkey flowers, and cobweb thistle as the second tier, and flows out towards the right. The lower lying plants consist of both California poppies and silver lupins for contrast in colors and vibrancy. Then all the way to the far right of the entrance, you get a spread of wild beach strawberries that fruit in mid-spring to early summer, and was added as a way to accommodate student desires to have growing fruit that they could pick on campus without disrupting the natural flow of the garden. They are on either side of the garden, separated by blue-eyed grass, as they do grow to be similar heights, around 1 foot tall, on either side of the walking path, and they both require fast soil drainage. We also have flannel bush all the way to the south side of the plan as the tallest tier down and it goes down into more bush monkey flower, blue witch nightshade, and back into the poppies and lupins for symmetry on both sides of the walkway. Then the brown circles are, those are wild ginger, which was also included as another possible cultivative species for students to use. So here's just some takeaways. I really think this garden has the potential to transform our campus, its culture and sustainability, while creating connections to place for all of our students. Green spaces are known to help reduce stormwater runoff, provide habitat for local species, improve biodiversity. It can act as a tool for teaching and learning, and provides a space for refuge during stressful times. Not only this, but it can help use the campus as a living laboratory, which is highlighted multiple times through the CSUMB's master plan. And lastly, I would just like to note that this project does line up directly with my future graduate studies program in landscape architecture, and has provided me with hands-on experience prior to entering the field in the upcoming fall. I hope to carry this project on with me, as I really do hope the garden comes to full fruition one day. And finally, a big thank you to my mentor, Tori Durr, for supporting me in my research the past 2 years, and everyone who has contributed to this project along the way. Now, if anyone has any questions, I am more than happy to answer.